All right, let's jump right in and explore Monero. Have you heard of it? It's a cryptocurrency, and it's really all about privacy, which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is, it is. I think a lot of people have heard of Bitcoin by now, but one thing with Bitcoin is that every transaction is like totally public. Anyone can see it. All the transactions are traceable.
Yeah, and that's not ideal for everyone, especially like if you're new to cryptocurrency. I mean, what's the big difference between something like Bitcoin and Monero?
Yeah, well, with Bitcoin, it's kind of like you're putting your financial activity up on a billboard for the whole world to see?
Wow.
Whereas Monero is more like sending a secret message, that only the recipient can decode. It was actually designed that way from the very beginning.
Huh. That's pretty cool, especially like, with all the data concerns people have nowadays. I mean, that actually sounds pretty appealing.
Yeah.
So how does Monero do that? How does it achieve that level of privacy?
Well, they use some really interesting techniques. One of them is called stealth addresses.
Okay.
So instead of sending money straight to your public address like you do with Bitcoin, Monero generates this unique address just for that transaction.
So that means, like, even if someone knew my Monero address, my public one, they couldn't see where I'm sending money or who's sending money to me.
Exactly, exactly. Think of it like a secret mailbox that only you and the person sending you mail know about.
I like that. So I get the secret mailbox. I get how that works for receiving money privately.
Right.
But what about when I'm sending money? What about protecting the sender's privacy?
Right. Well, that's where this thing called ring signatures comes in.
Like ring
For
signatures.
imagine you and some friends are pooling your money to buy something together, right? So with ring signatures, it's kind of like everyone throws their cash into a hat, and then the seller has absolutely no idea who actually put in what.
So it's like a group effort to make everyone's transactions untraceable.
Yeah, it totally hides where the money came from.
That's really clever, actually.
Yeah, and Monero takes it even a step further with something called RingCT, which stands for Ring Confidential Transactions.
Okay. Ring CT. Now we're getting really fancy.
A little bit, yeah.
That's that.
Well, okay, so with Bitcoin, everyone can see exactly how much money is being sent in a transaction. But with RingCT and Monero, they hide the amount. So not only can't you see who's sending or getting the money, you also can't tell how much is actually being sent.
So it's like the ultimate privacy package, huh?
Yeah.
But wait, if everything's hidden like that, how do you even know if you've received any Monero? Like, how do you check?
You have this special view key, and it acts kind of like a decoder ring. It lets you see all the transactions sent to your hackers. It's like having a secret language, that only you and the sender can understand.
Okay, so it's secure, but I still have complete control over my money.
Exactly.
That's impressive.
Yeah, a lot of thought went into it.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I read something about a mix-in level. What's that about?
Ah, yeah. The mix-in level basically determines how many other users' funds get mixed with yours whenever you make a transaction. So the higher the mix-in level, the more difficult it is to trace those funds back to you.
So it's kind of like I don't know, adding more and more ingredients to a secret recipe?
Exactly. Exactly. It makes it harder to tell what went in there.
Wow. So they really are going all out to protect privacy with this, huh?
They are, and there's even more. They're working on integrating with the Invisible Internet Project. Have you heard of that?
I2P, I've heard of that. I don't really know what it is, though.
Well, it basically encrypts all your internet traffic, so it makes it very difficult to even see that you're using Monero in the first place.
Oh, wow. So it's like a secret tunnel to your secret mailbox.
Exactly.
Monero's serious about this.
They are.
But, all this anonymity, all this secrecy, doesn't it make you worry that people will use it for, not so good things?
Well, sure. I mean, any tool can be used for good or bad. Like a hammer can build a house or it can break a window.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, while many people are using Monero just to protect their financial privacy, there are probably some who are using it for less than legal activities.
I see. So it's kind of a tricky situation, isn't it? Like Monero walks this fine line between offering valuable privacy and maybe being misused.
It does. It does. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah. It makes you think.
Yeah, it really does make you think, almost any technology can be used in the wrong way.
Right. Yeah.
You have to weigh those benefits against the risks.
Hmm. That's true. I guess what I find fascinating about Monero, though, is that it makes you really question how we think about money and how we think about privacy, especially in a digital world.
Totally, yeah. I mean, we share so much information online now, it's easy to forget. Like, we have the right to keep some things private, especially when it comes to money.
It's true. It's true. We lock our doors at home. We use passwords for our online accounts. But when it comes to money, it's like everything's just out there.
Yeah, it's all out there.
Monero, it gives you back some control.
It does. It gives individuals the choice to decide what they share and who they share it with when it comes to their finances.
Okay, yeah. So zooming out for a sec, like where does Monero fit in with all the other cryptocurrencies out there?
Well, it's definitely part of this movement towards privacy-focused cryptocurrencies. As people get more and more concerned about data privacy and surveillance, they're going to be looking for ways to protect their financial information.
So it's not just like for techie people or people trying to hide things. It's for everyday people who want more control over, I guess, their digital trail.
Absolutely, yeah. And this trend towards privacy, it's not just in crypto, it's in secure messaging apps and VPNs and all kinds of tools that people are using.
Like people are finally realizing that their data is valuable
It is valuable.
and that they should have some say in who gets to see it.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how governments and regulators react to this trend.
Right.
Are they going to embrace the need for financial privacy or try to restrict these technologies that make it harder to, track people?
That's a good question. I have no idea. It's like this constant back and forth between like security and privacy and freedom.
It is a balance, isn't it? But no matter what happens in the future, I think Monero has shown us that people really want private and secure digital currencies.
I agree. I learned a lot about Monero just in this deep dive. It's been eye-opening.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
Yeah. And it's not just the technical stuff, it's the philosophical questions too about privacy and security in the digital age.
Exactly.
Yeah. Before we finish up, I've been thinking about this idea. Is privacy a luxury or is it a right?
That's a tough one. I think it's a fundamental right,
Okay.
and it shouldn't be compromised, whether you're online or offline.
Yeah, I like that. Just because something happens in the digital world doesn't mean it's any less important than if it happened in the real world.
Exactly. If we want a truly free and equitable society, we gotta prioritize digital privacy just as much as physical privacy.
I totally agree. It's funny. Before we started, I thought Monero was just another cryptocurrency, but now I see it kind of as a symbol of something much bigger.
I think you're right. It represents a desire for control, for autonomy,
Yeah.
to choose what we share and what we keep private.
And it makes you wonder, what will the future of privacy even look like?
It does, doesn't it? Will we have to fight for every little bit of privacy we can get, or will we see more privacy-conscious technologies and regulations in the future?
I don't know, but I hope it's the second one.
Me too.
Well, this has been an amazing conversation. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
It's been a pleasure talking to you today. I think it's so important to have conversations like this so we can really understand what's at stake with privacy and technology.
It's funny, we've been talking about this really complex tech,
Yeah,
but the idea behind Monero, it's pretty simple, really.
it is. At the end of the day, it's about letting people control their own information, their financial information.
Yeah, it's like when you use a password manager or a VPN, you don't have to understand exactly how it works to know that it's, a good thing for your privacy.
Exactly. You just get the benefit.
Yeah, and as more and more people start to realize that, I think we're going to see more interest in cryptocurrencies like this one.
Yeah, definitely. Privacy is becoming more and more important these days.
It makes you think, though, will it ever be as common as, like, using two-factor authentication? Just a normal thing that everybody does.
That's a great question. Maybe someday. Yeah, digital privacy will be like a basic right, not just for the techie people.
And Monero could be one of the things that, leads the way.
It could be. It definitely has the potential. But
Yeah.
whatever happens, I think these conversations about privacy and cryptocurrency, they're really important.
They are. They are. We need to be having these conversations and thinking about this stuff, like how our data is being used, who has access to it.
100%.
Yeah, and Monero, it's just one piece of that, but it's an important one.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive into the world of Monero.
I think so.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you learned something about this unique cryptocurrency and maybe started thinking about these big questions about privacy in our digital world.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic.
It is.
And the conversation doesn't end here. Keep learning, keep exploring, keep asking those questions.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Happy diving, everyone.